This is Martin Giles of the Guildford Dragon News, and I'm here with Lorimer, who's the chairman of the St Catherine's Village Association, and we're at the Guildford end of the Hogs Chalk Ridge, where the sudden closure of a fieldside path has caused consternation amongst many local residents who have used it for decades and enjoyed the sometimes spectacular views hidden by fog today to the south over the Surrey Hills and beyond. Lorimer, what has happened here?
We being the local residents, have suddenly found that we are no longer able to walk along the top of this field that's behind me. It was very abrupt and it's caused consternation amongst all the community who have been walking along here for so long.
What has been the reaction then? Have you had many letters or comments? What's happened?
I think it really stemmed from the fact that I was able to arrange a meeting with the Loseley estate manager, Jim Hero, and our local councillor, Angela Goodwin, and Joe Rue, who is the chair of the Community Association for Onslow. And we had this meeting just here, behind it, in front of me. And Jim was very good, and he listened and took lots of notes. And then I made a report of that in our local Facebook page, St Catherine's Village Association. And it astonished me that that page has received over 5,300 views, which just demonstrates the enthusiasm and interest that there is for local people. And they asked me if we could set up a WhatsApp. Normally, if I make posts on our Facebook page, it would receive 100 or 150 views, but to have 5,300 and counting is quite extraordinary and is a strong indication of the amount of interest and concern that there is amongst local people.
Now, Loseley Estate says there has been crop damage and the path is 6 feet wide and about 1 kilometre long, so that represents about 2 hectares of field lost to the tenant farmer. It is used by dog walkers like yourself, and whilst yours might be well behaved, some dogs do inevitably go into the field and can cause damage. They do have a point, don't they?
They do have a point, but there is a tendency for exaggeration there. The path is 6 feet wide in some areas, but mostly it is only about 3 feet wide. There has always been a slight tendency for a few ignorant people to go into the crop, and dogs do sometimes run into the crops, but they really don't cause that much damage at all. I feel that is overblown, particularly if you consider the relative size of what this path represents in comparison with the side of this field.
The damage has a cost. Have you estimated that cost?
Quite a few estimates have been made. That's partly where this WhatsApp has become so useful. So many investigations have been made and calculations, and there have been calculations varying between £200 and £300 a year, depending on whether it was barley or wheat, of possible loss for the farmer.
Now, I recall that the use of fieldside paths in this area was an issue about 15 years ago. What happened then? How was it resolved at the time?
At that time, I was the secretary of our local St Catherine's community committee and was able to arrange, together with our chairman, Ron Johnson, who's since died, a meeting with Michael Moore-Molyneux, who was kind enough to come and meet us just a little bit further down this road behind you. And he came with his estate agent, and we discussed our need for being able to walk along the top of this field. His estate agent was not very sympathetic and said, "You got a perfectly good track to walk along here. What's wrong with that?" And the simple answer is there's no views to the left or the right. Michael Moore-Molyneux is far more sympathetic and reasonable, and he agreed that we could have permission to walk along the top of the field as a permissive path.
Okay, but Michael Moore-Molyneux has now handed over to his son the running of the estate.
Yes, his son Alexander.
How have they handled this situation, in your view, the estate?
Well, in the intervening years, 15 years or so since I had that meeting with Michael Moore-Molyneux, there's been nothing, with the exception that, despite the fact Michael had said that we could walk along the top of this field, the tenant farmer always cultivated right up to the bottom of the hedge, so the path was lost and needed to be walked out again. So the tenant farmer did not agree with the agreement that Michael had made.
But do you think they understand the community impact of their action?
It gets very sensitive here, and this is what tends to hurt us so much, because I'm not aware of any community involvement that Loseley Estate has with the local community, and that grieves me greatly.
Now, they also say that their action will help protect wildlife. Do you accept that?
How? There's birds and small mammals, and they are living in and out of the hedge that used to be there or on the field. It doesn't frighten them away. I don't see that it has any impact at all.
And they are proposing to construct viewing platforms to preserve the viewpoints. Isn't that sufficient?
It's a generous idea, but it won't work. One doesn't want to be in a place where you can even sit on a bench and look at a view. You need, not want, you need to be part of the view, to be able to walk along it and experience it as you are going along it. And there's a further concern that there's a great problem up here with drug taking and the use of alcohol, and
On the lane itself? On the lane itself, you mean?
on the lane itself. And several people have suggested that a platform like that would be an absolutely perfect place for people like that to so indulge.
Okay, now, access has been blocked. So what do you intend to do now? It is their land. Have you any option but to accept it?
Well, how could we accept it? We've been walking along here for at least 20 years, and many people, including me, 30 years. So there's real concern that that it must be possible to regain access to a place that is treasured so much by so many people. It's two-way traffic. We do appreciate that the farmer needs to make a living, and we really do not want to stop him doing that, but at the same time, surely it must be possible for Loseley to wish to improve and indeed to enhance their relationship with the local community.
Lorimer, Chairman of the St Catherine's Village Association, thank you very much.
A pleasure to talk with you. Thank you very much, Martin.